don't stop believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Every day you get up in the morning, if you have a goal, a plan, whatever that is, execute it, and don't worry about the negative and the things that are surrounding you. You know, the things that you're going to get rejected, you're going to get no's, you're going to get doors slammed on you. But just keep going. Your dream, your passion, if you know that's what you want to do, then you attack it.
Hello and welcome back to the Better Human Podcast, a podcast about making humans better humans and demystifying the world of relationships, communication, entrepreneurship for your better life. Today we're joined by the one and only Tony Washington, hailing from New Orleans, number 67, offensive lineman for the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL. Tony attended Trinity Valley Community College in Athens, Texas, where Washington was named to the 2007 All-Southwest Junior College Football Conference first team. Tony then went on to attend Abilene Christian University and played 2 seasons, 2008 and 09 for the Wildcats. There he was named Lone Star Conference Offensive Lineman of the 2 times All-American in Division II and finalist of the Gene Upshaw Award, TopLineman in Division II football. Wow. He also won the 100th Grey Cup with the Toronto Argonauts in 2012 and in 2015 with the Edmonton Eskimos. Tony is a proud father of 2 boys and is no stranger to adversity, perseverance, and grit, and we're going to get to hear all about your story today. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, so I'm going to start with just sort of a generic one. Tell us a little bit about your career, your profession. How did what attracted you to football, and what's it been like so far?
Yeah, man. Honestly, just growing up watching the sport. I grew up watching, the San Francisco 49ers in the 90s, Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Reggie White. These are guys I looked at every Sunday with my family. And I just always wanted to be those guys. So I just, set a path that I was going to do that. I was going to become a professional football player. So yeah, man, I got on my path, started playing middle school football, high school football, went to college, and, here I am now.
Yeah, and I think your size also helps, right? I mean, you're
Yeah, I mean, and that helps a lot. Actually, I kind of had a growth spurt, man. It was like I was worried about it for a little bit, then all of a sudden, my senior year in high school, I just blew up. I was like 6'5", 295, and I had college everywhere talking to me. So it was kind of interesting time.
Do you remember that first sort of professional game that you played? It was the NFL, right?
No. I actually had I kind of bounced around the NFL a little bit, just going to not camps, but just going to meetings and stuff, trying to get on.
Right.
I could never, there was a few things that happened with my trying to learn the playbook situation. Like anytime you get in front of these NFL coaches, man, I mean, they drill you. And I went to 2 small colleges and my job was to block the defensive end. That was it. The playbook was pretty simple for me, right? So going into these meetings, talking to all these teams, they got guys from Nebraska, LSU, and some of these places, and they're snapping out how to do this play, how to do that play. And after I was on the board, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I think that's where I lost the NFL, but my first professional game was in Canada, in Calgary.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The CFL.
Yeah, CFL.
Awesome. So let's go there. So tell me about that first professional game. Do you remember like what it sounded like and what it smelled like and like what that feeling was? I mean, you're on the line, the whistle goes. I mean, tell me about that experience.
I was scared shitless. I was scared shitless. I was terrified, but I was ready for the challenge. And I came up from being a big draft pick in the NFL, and I had all this hype going in. And I was just hoping that I can, live up to the hype. You know what I'm saying? So it was just it was fun.
So what?
I mean,
what's that like living up to the hype, living up to the reputation.
Yeah, living up to the hype.
Well, let me ask you, what was that? What was that pressure like? I mean, you're coming in as like, with a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
And a lot of belief in how you're going to operate and be as a player, right? Yeah. I mean, what's it like to have that kind of pressure coming from not just the sport itself, but from the team, the coaches, the owners?
Yeah, it's eye-opening for sure. But it also opened me up to, believing in myself. Here was an opportunity put in front of me to go and be dominant the way I wanted to be, and I think I kind of accepted it. It was hard, but it was almost like it was fear, but it was almost excitement. Like I was ready to go. My journey was beginning. So it's you get it from every angle, but I mean, just once the whistle blows and the ball is snapped, all that goes out the window. Now you're just playing football. It goes back to just being a kid playing ball in the yard when you had those first dreams.
Oh man, awesome. So let me ask you, I mean, you've been in your career for a little bit. Again, I describe you as someone that's got a tremendous amount of perseverance and grit. What are some of the things that you wish you knew early in your career?
Early in my career, I kind of wish I understood more about the business side of it, but also understanding how to handle myself professionally off the field. I think a lot of times in my career now, I look back into my early days, and I don't know, I always feel like if I would have done more off the field, you know what I mean? If I would have saved more money, if I would have paid more attention to my playbook, if I would have worked out when I was going to stop that one day, if I was going to, take 20 minutes and stretch after practice, those are the little things I wish I would have known. I think I would have been a better player. I mean, I've played 10 years. I've won some championships and I've been starting my whole career. I've done good, but it's just that, could have been it could have been if I've done this, that's the only thing I wish I would have known going in.
Yeah. So let's go to the financial and the money side of things. I mean, you hear the story all the time, which is, I wish I learned more about money management, financial
Yeah.
acumen, literacy. I found this as an entrepreneur. I only learned about sort of P&Ls, money, financial management almost afterwards, after being in business.
Yeah.
How important is that for a pro athlete to get a grip on early days?
It's huge, man, because there's a lifestyle that comes with playing football or any professional sport. There's a lifestyle. There's expectation when you go into the city.
Mhm.
People expect you to be doing certain things. Go here, go to this bar, go to this club. You wanna have the nice shoes when you go to the games. You want to look good in front of the camera. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, and
Mhm.
being able to sit back and actually evaluate what's my future going to look like. This won't last long. Maybe I don't last 10 years. Maybe I only last 2 years.
Mhm.
How do I, you know, see in the future when you're so young in the game and you don't recognize those things. But it's very important, man. I wish every day I would have put a little bit of money away. I mean, I put some money away later in my career, but
Mhm.
the first 6-7 years I was just playing football. I was just playing football, and I think if I was to talk to anyone about coming into a professional sport, I would hands down 100% say save your money,
Right.
save your money, save your money, save your money.
Right, right. Well, I think we had when we were doing our discovery call originally, the NFL stands for
Not for long.
not for long, right? And I said, well, what does the CFL stand for? And you said,
cash cash flow low.
hey, so these are important things because at the end of the day, what do you do? So, what do you think would have better prepared you for a career after football? And I know we're not there yet. I know you're still well in your career of football right now, but
Yeah.
what are some things? Let me change the question. What are some things that you think about now when it comes down to what's next for you?
Oh, well, a lot of it is what I should have done while I was playing. Should I have taken that one little course extra, or should I have taken a certificate in this class? Should I have, you know, put more time into myself instead of putting all my eggs in one basket with football. I should have, this and this and that. But now going into the future, ending my career in the next couple of years, those are kind of things I'm thinking about. And now it's what's next. Where am I going to be? What do I want to do?
Right.
When everybody was in school, learning, business and kinesiology and communications, my thing was football. That was what I went to college for. That's what I got signed up to go to school for. Everything was about football. And even through my career, it was always about football. So I got comfortable with that. It's never going to end. I'm really good. I can do this forever. I can say whenever I start wanting to say.
Mhm.
And it just doesn't work like that. You got to put more effort into your afterlife, if you will. It's afterlife. Death, the first
Maybe
the first death is your career. The first I heard this somewhere the other day. It said an athlete's first death is after their last snap, and then they're reborn into a new life, because it's literally a new life for a lot of football players, because a lot of us don't prepare for the future. We don't.
Right. So, what do you think the CFL or the the industry itself should be doing to prepare players better? Is there a responsibility that the actual industry and profession, like
No,
it's
no, there's no responsibility toward the league, but our union, our players union, they do a very good job of lately of getting us in front of career counselors, giving us business opportunities. A lot of companies that reach out to us, fire department, police department. There's a lot of programs that we've set up through the CFLPA to guide a player through retirement and after retirement.
Mhm. Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
there's consultants out there that also do this for a living, right? They'll take a pro athlete and they'll help you transition out of your athletic career into your business career, right? But it's a big jump. It's a big leap, man.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, I mean, we've all had some sort of influential people in our lives, or we've all read certain books, or we've all sort of, gotten some advice. What has been some influential either people or messages that you've received throughout your career?
A lot of the influence came from my mom, her strength, how she gritted through and kept going. I mean, she did it with a smile on her face. I mean, the stuff that woman did and the stuff that she's still going through, it amazes me. I don't want to get too personal, but I've seen my mom on her deathbed twice. And both times she, got up and was like, I'm fine, and it was just her strength and her willingness to keep going for me. That was, I always will look back on that and see how, if it wasn't for my mom, in a lot of ways, just giving me a couch to sleep on, when I was in college and maybe I didn't make it this or make that, she was always available to get me through my path. And I think further on in my career, mostly college, it was my coaches. I had two phenomenal college coaches. They both had very strong Christian backgrounds, but they were men first. And, they guided me in a lot of instances. I wasn't the best teenager. I wasn't the best college student, but I knew anytime that I needed to sit down and deal with some meat things personally, I had these two men, in Trinity Valley, Coach Sartain, and then Abilene Christian, I had Coach Chris Thompson. And, those guys really, I would say, were my foundation to me continue going. I think if I would have went to any other school, maybe I wouldn't have been as successful, or maybe I didn't go as far, or maybe I didn't even have the mindset to do it. I think those people built up a certain callus, if you will, on my mind to just keep driving, keep pushing.
It's you're describing mentorship. Right?
Yes, mentors. Yeah,
you had these two coaches that were incredible. They weren't just coaches for you; they were parental figures. They were mentors that helped you grow. Mm-hmm. How important is it for us to have mentorship in our life, particularly as young men?
I think it's huge. I think it's huge to have somebody you can sit down and talk to, man.
Yeah.
We go through life, especially men, we go through life with this attitude as if we don't have, like, nothing's going to bother us, nothing's going to stop us, or nothing's going to hurt us, hinder us. But we hurt too. And especially football players, people see us as these big brutes that play football, but a lot of these guys have a lot of feelings, and I mean, they got lives going on at home. Mm-hmm. So having someone that you can sit down and have that conversation with, to get deep with, to even if it's just somebody that needs to pat you on the back or tell you to get your ass up, or just, those things are important, are very important. I think they make or break a player.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Wow. You have kids, right?
I have two boys, Tage and Tony.
Yeah. How old are they?
16 and one's turning 12, so he's 11 yet.
All right. Are they big like you?
Not big, tall. My and they have big feet.
They might hit the growth spurt.
I hope so. I see the feet, man. I'm like, oh my God. I sent home shoes a couple months ago, and I got a phone call 3 weeks later. He's already outgrown them. My youngest, I think he's in a size 10 already. He's 11.
Wow.
Yeah,
are they going to play football, or do they play football?
My oldest wants to play football, but he was born a little bit early, premature, and he had some condition where he couldn't. It was something to do with his spinal cord. It didn't make sense for us to put him on the field. But he's gone as far as wanting to go to school for communication, just so he can be a pundit on ESPN or something like that, because he wants to be around the game. He's thought about coaching because he loves it. he talks football. I mean, I have conversations with him, and he brings up facts from things that I should know. Like in the '80s, this guy did this in this Super Bowl game, this, and I'm like, maybe you should be in some be a reporter or something like that. So
Yeah.
my youngest is a basketball guy. His mom played basketball, so he's all about basketball. He don't want to do anything with football. I tried to get him, but it's not working.
What advice do you want to set? Like, so let's say your oldest, he might go into more of the operational management, consulting side. It could go all the way down to things like agents. On the business side, which I think is what you've just described, he's got a natural talent to sort of move into the business side, and your other son might have a natural sort of talent more on the sort of player side. What's some advice that you want to give your sons? What is the advice that you want your sons walking into their careers with?
To just don't stop believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Every day you get up in the morning, if you have a goal, a plan, whatever that is, execute it, and don't worry about the negative and the things that are surrounding you. The things that you're going to get rejected, you're going to get no's, you're going to get doors slammed on you. But just keep going, and that starts with believing in yourself. If you know your plan, your dream, your passion, if you know that's what you want to do, then you attack it. And I think have a plan is the biggest thing. So have a plan, attack it, and believe in yourself.
Yeah, right. And we don't have a plan enough. We don't do it in life at all, right?
We just go. I did it. I knew I wanted to play ball, but what else? What else? Like what's going to happen if this happens? What happens if you have 2 kids in college? What happens if you get married and divorced? What happens if you don't have any money? What what happens?
Right.
I have these conversations with my oldest all the time. He always tells me, he kind of always goes back to the communication thing. But, every time I'm on the phone with him, he's playing his video games. Sometimes I'm like, well, what are you doing to help? Like, what have you read lately about communication? What have you read lately about this and this and that? So, I think having a plan, we definitely need one. We have to. I wish. Go back to the question. What do you wish you had known at the beginning of your career? Have a freaking plan.
Yeah. I wish I posted something recently saying I didn't figure my shit out until I was 40, but I'm still trying to figure it out. But yes, I agree with that. The importance of having a plan and thinking ahead. I relate to you a lot where I've just operated and done and then figured it out after. And in some cases, if I was to go back and give myself some advice, the advice would be learn about money, learn how to invest money, learn how to save money, learn how to manage money, learn how to spend money, learn money. Because I was never taught money by my parents, right? And in some cases, I don't even think my father knew how to manage money in some capacity. Right? He passed a long time ago. It's a different story, another conversation, but another time. But the other side is have a plan, because before you know it, 10 years, 15, 20 years are going to fly by pretty quickly. Yeah. And you don't want to wake up one day thinking, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Yeah. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsor, and we're going to jump into the next section, which is what we call the deep dive. We're going to get some of your secrets and your nuggets on how to stay persistent, resilient, gritty, and driving ahead. So we'll be right back. Okay, just before we jump into the next segment, we're going to take a quick little audio break, and we're going to hear from our sponsor, the Better Human Program. The Better Human Program is a 10-week program that equips you with the tools to achieve success in every interaction with other humans. Learn assertiveness, effective communication, interpersonal skills, and take control of your life with the Better Human Program. Check out the link below for all the description information. Welcome back to section 2. We are going to get a little more intimate. We're going to learn a little more about Tony. I want to find out what makes you tick and how you do what you do. So let me ask you, let's kick things off. What is the hardest thing about being a football player?
Oh, that's a lot of stuff. I think the hardest thing for me has been, I would say, being consistent and living up to the hype day in and day out. Not living up to the hype. I'm sorry. Living up to expectations. Mm-hmm. You're expected to be a certain way every day. You're expected to go out perform every day. Every day is a test of how good you are, even if you have the job. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you go to practice, you need to be the best out there. You can't have bad days. When you're in the meeting rooms, you can't. If the coach asks you a question, because everybody's trying to get your job. Everyone's trying to get your job. Right? There's so many kids out there that want to play your position. And every day, someone is thinking, how can I get Tony Washington's position? And I got to figure out every day, how do I stop this guy from getting my position? You know, am I working out harder in the gym? Am I working out harder after the gym? Am I doing my stretching? Those are the things I think is the hardest, to be consistent all the time, every day, without fail. I mean, we have fails every now and then, but I mean, the coach will let you know right away, man. It's, as soon as you go to meeting the next day and we watch practice, it's like, you know,
Mhm.
you're getting dog cursed. They're talking. They're like, this isn't what we talked about. We went over this for 20 minutes. This big playbook. We went over this for 20 minutes, and I asked you to do it, and you can't do that simple job every day. I think that's, to me, it's a mind thing, man. It's being consistent.
Yeah,
Being
and I
consistent.
heard you say like being having a strong mindset, like having a resilient mind as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I would agree with that. Yes.
So how did you develop all this? I mean, how did you develop this resilience? How do you develop that sort of skill to be going into this thing every day,
Yeah.
where there's someone looking at trying to get your job, you're being hammered by coaches, you're questioning yourself on how do I get better, how do I stay ahead? That's a lot of pressure. How did you learn to deal with that? I mean, or maybe better question, what are the qualities you need to have in order to deal with that?
Well, like you said, it's the resilience. I think I developed my resilience through um, all the door slamming that happened in my career, in my path. I think things that happened to me in my college, the constant no made me want to go further and further and further. So I think that's where I kind of built that resilience up to keep going on the field, because now it's easy. The hard part's over. I think that's where I developed my resilience, my life story, being able to push through that stuff, dealing with my kids when I was in college, dealing with the colleges saying no, the NFL saying no, being pulled away from this and pulled away from that, and just continuously wanting to go. And mostly probably because of people telling me I couldn't do it. Some of it was, stop or go find something else to do. No, this is what I want to do. This is the drive. This is what I want to do. I'm going to keep going. And I have my people in place. My mom was in place. People were in place to push me there. So now these coaches and the stuff that happened on the field, it's easy compared to where it came from.
Right. So what you just described is, I think the life builds calluses, and we need that in order to deal with the stress that we're going to go through. I mean, yes, you've been your career is a career of a lot of no's and doors being closed and rejection.
Yeah.
This is a joke we make about salespeople, right? Salespeople can deal with no all day, but what they can't deal with is not being responded to or the phone being picked up with, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it, which is like no gives you a little bit of grit and drive to move forward.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. We're living in the days of COVID. Obviously, sports are very different now because of COVID. I mean, there's been a financial impact to players. The game itself is even different. What's it like being in the CFL now during COVID?
Well, it's ended for us so far. We haven't had a season since 2019. We're on the cusp of trying to figure out if we're going to have a season this year. Um, we actually just went into another lockdown,
Yep.
in BC and Ontario as well. So right now CFL for me, it's basically kind of ended my career for now. Uh, forcibly retired me,
Hey,
forcibly retired me. So yeah, it's nothing really going on right now. It's just training for the last year and a half to play a possible game, hopefully in June.
right. So you're still training. You're still operating with the mindset that I got to get up every day
Yes.
and train.
And man, I tell you, this is the hardest part of my career. Is actually having the willingness to still have the drive to get up in the morning and say, look, okay, I know we may not be playing. I know that, we don't, there's so much uncertainty,
Mhm.
but I got to go to the gym, man. I got to continue. I still have that mindset, man. I can't let nobody come and take my job. I can't go on the field and get embarrassed. What if they call tomorrow and say, yes, we're playing, and I'm not ready? You know what I mean? You got to stay ready. You got to prepare. You got to prepare when that door opens, because you never know when it's going to open. That's why I'll go back to what we were talking about, doors closed. If you're not ready when that door opens, whenever that opportunity comes,
Mhm.
whose fault is that? You know what I'm saying? Whose fault is that? And that's really one of the biggest reasons that kind of propelled me to keep going. It's just be ready. Be ready. On time, ready to go.
I titled the show that, right? Be ready. It's so true, man. Be ready. You always have to be ready. You always have to be working. You always have to be training. What you just said was so powerful, which was, I'm just going to paraphrase. If you're not training every day, you ain't ready.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Let me ask you a couple personalized questions. So how important is it to have how important is it to have that support system around you in order to be successful? Not just with pro sports, but in general.
I think it's our lifeblood. Honestly, it's we can't do this thing alone as much as we act like we want to, or we act like we can. We can't do this thing alone. And having my girlfriend, her family, my kids, having people like you I can talk to, having my coaches.
Right.
Those are the things that when I don't want to get up that morning and train, or I don't want to go to practice that day, or I don't feel this, those are the people that's going to always push you because they see the potential in you and they know who you are.
Right.
And they're always going to push you in that direction of who you are, especially if they love you and they care about you. And if they're the right people that surround you, they're always going to push you in the right direction. So not having them, it's almost like you don't have that box. So, you can always fall left or right or up and down. Having that box is pivotal. It's a lifeblood. Lifeblood.
It's your team.
It's your team. It's your team.
Wow.
Yeah, and the importance of having a good team. I've been on teams where we were all over the place and it looked like it on the field, and I've been on teams where, we were just together. Our last season in Montreal, man. I mean, our team went through a fired GM, a fired head coach, assistant coach stepped up to be the head coach. We lost a couple players. Like it was, we didn't know we didn't know where we were. We had a new quarterback. And we just gathered around each other, man. We pushed each other every day. We were the misfit kids, banded together and we were successful. First time going to the playoffs for like 6 years.
Yeah. What are some of the secrets to that team success? I mean, or maybe let me change the question. What are some things we can do to create that kind of team?
For me, I thought is the connection, the bond that we created. We all had the same goal at mind. We wanted to go out there and when we had each other's back. Right. We had good leaders, people that stepped up and spoke. I think a good leader, and then people who know their position as a follower or a leader. I think those things work together. You can't, if you're not a leader, you need to be somebody that can get to rally the team together. I think those are kind of the things that kind of kept us together, just the brotherhood. And I think the biggest thing is like we had one goal in mind. Mm-hmm. We had one goal in mind, and we just came together. I don't know how to explain it. It was kind of like a fictional thing. I mean, you had to be in the locker room, man. It was just a bond that we had created. Yep. But again, if I take it back to technical, we had great leaders. We had people that good veterans. They stepped up and they pulled us together. Good coaching.
And again, the key thing you said there as well was your position. Like, be a really great follower or be a really great leader, or, just play that role well, contribute to the team or contribute to leading the team.
Yeah. Or get out the way.
We'll get out the way. There you go. I think a book right there that says that. So what has been some of your biggest takeaways from being rejected? I mean, looking back at your career, do you think you would be the successful man and human being that you are today if you hadn't gone through that type of rejection?
No, I think the rejection is what built me. The rejection is what made me, being told no is what made me who I am today. Mm-hmm. I think rejection is it's your opportunity to overcome. It's your opportunity to be tested and to push forward. I don't shy away from being rejected. I kind of welcome it because it's always going to develop you into a better human.
Right. We got a hat coming for you, bud. Huh? We got a hat coming for you.
Can't wait. But yeah, no, I think rejection is it's important to life. I think rejection is definitely important to life. I mean, we don't have to have it, but I mean, yeah. I think the rejection I got is going to drive me past my career in football. I'm going to be able to, whatever I get into, whatever I decide to get into, I know that I'll be able to implement those same skills, the same learning, the same resilience, and the same dedication that I did in football to my everyday life. Yeah.
So cool. So let's go there for a second. What are some of your aspirations after football? What's next?
That's kind of where I'm at right now, trying to figure out. I don't have any, like, football was my dream, right? And I had things I wanted to do outside of football, but I never really took the time. Like I said earlier, I didn't take the time to nurture those things, or to
Right.
try to learn those different skill sets. So right now I'm trying to figure that out. What's next? What's next for Tony Washington? Coaching has come up a couple times in my head, or just being around football. Maybe not on the coaching side, maybe just on the business side of football.
Right.
I think we talked about that. Maybe you kind of gave me that idea, because I wasn't thinking that far. After football, do I get into the business side of it, like your scouts, or even just working for the CFL,
Right.
or the NFL? But yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying, life coaching it up.
Maybe we'll splash in some motivational speaker there, man. You're amazing. All right. This is just a dad question. So obviously you're a pro athlete. You've got kids that potentially, might get into sport, at least one. What would be some advice for parents with their kids in sport?
The advice I would give is just allow them, if they're kids, allow them to be kids. Don't put so much pressure on them. They'll tell you what they want to do, and I mean, you push them, you want to push them, and you want to push them to a point, but let them be kids. And it was a question that you asked me, and I thought about it earlier about my kids, and I was just thinking, like, when I was a kid, I think that helped me a lot with my dad. Not he pushed me, but he kind of, like, he reeled it back. He's like, okay, he pushed me enough, but I was able to still be a kid in some instances, right? So I was still able to enjoy the game. You know what I mean? And I think I don't want to get my son to the point to where he doesn't enjoy the game.
Right.
So I think that's the only advice I could really give on that, is let them enjoy the game, let them fall in love with it. I mean, why would you pull their heart out, right away? I'm not saying give participation trophies. I'm not for participation trophies at all.
Right.
I want my son to know if he got third place, but he needs to know why he got third place. Right. What could he have done more? What could you have done more? Let's have a real conversation,
Right. So parents be parents and coaches be coaches.
Right.
Awesome.
And talk to them. Like, it's your kid. Like, you can have a conversation with them. Like, you don't have to, belittle them or make them feel like crap. Just, have a conversation with them. Like, what could we do to improve? What do you think? Let's look at the film. Let's talk about it. What did you do here that was wrong? You think you could have made, maybe if you would have ran an extra lap, you think maybe that could have had, I think those things are important for parents talking to their kids.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, we're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to come back to the final section, which is called the Better Human section. We're going to get your 2 takeaway questions, which is, what is it going to take for us to all be better humans? And we'll be right back. Okay, just before we jump into the next segment, we're going to take a quick little audio break, and we're going to hear from our sponsor, the Better Human program. The Better Human program is a 10-week program that equips you with the tools to achieve success in every interaction with other humans. Learn assertiveness, effective communication, interpersonal skills, and take control of your life with the Better Human program. Check out the link below for all the description information. All right, well, welcome back. We're coming back to what we call the Better Human takeaway section. This is the final section, and we're going to find out what it means to Tony to be a better human being. So, Tony, the first question I'm going to ask you, and I always start this section with this question, which is, what is the question I should have asked you today that I didn't ask you today?
How did it feel to win your championships?
He's like, listen, fucker, the one question you should have answered was, what does it feel like to be a champion?
All right. Feel like to be a champion.
Right. Tony, let me ask you that quick. What is it like to win a championship game? What's it like to be a champion?
It's everything you work for. It's everything you work for in a small amount of time. It's all your dreams, all your passions, every thought you've had, every play you ran over in your head over and over again. Every time you got up in the morning to go to practice when you didn't want to. Every time you busted this play. Every time you made this tackle. Everything that you went through in your whole career, every door that was slammed, it all accumulates to one thing, and it's raising that trophy and having that feeling that, like, I did it. I did it. I did it. It's a hard. It's not really hard to express. It's easy. I did it, and I think that's what it's all about. It's reaching that goal. and then going for it again.
Right.
You know, can you do it again? Can you do it again? So
That was
yeah.
going to be my follow-up question, which is like, so do you have that same sort of desire to get it again, or once you win it the first time, it's
No, you always have the desire to win it again. I mean, ask Tom Brady.
right? Hey, that's the difference between the pros and the amateurs.
Yeah, exactly. I want to win it again. This COVID thing has kind of dampened the mood a little bit, but I'm hoping that once it gets started back up again, that we can drive through that wall of COVID.
Right. When do you think that's going to happen?
Well, we haven't heard anything yet. I don't think realistically we're going to start on time, but we have supposed to be in June. June 10th is supposed to be the first game of the season. Camp starts the end of May. We haven't got word back from it, but the way COVID's going and all these lockdowns, I think we're going to start late if we do start, and that's going to be a bummer because that might be all she wrote for me.
So you think if the season doesn't start, this might be it?
Yeah. Well, I can't hold out any longer. There's a lot of things I want to start. I can't wait any longer. You know, I'm working on getting myself into a new career, and in the meantime, I'm going to need to feed my family.
Right.
And I'm not going to, unless it comes around perfect timing and I'm able to leave and go play again in 2022. Oh, I'm working a good job or in my career. I don't see myself leaving a potential, you know, lifelong career.
Yeah.
For 6 months of possible.
Wow. But as we know, you're persistent and you're gritty and you're resilient. So, you know, if there's anyone that we can count on maybe sort of pushing through this, it's going to be you.
Yep. I'm going to try. I'm going to keep trying. They keep cutting our money down. So it's another thing we got to worry about.
Financial side of things.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about that later as well. All right, let's jump into the next question, which is, these are our signature questions, which is, what does the word better human mean to you, and how do we all achieve it? How do we all become better humans?
How do we become better humans?
Yeah.
To me, what made me a better human was first of all, I had to fall in love with myself. And once I fell in love with myself, then I could put that energy out back into the world, because I think the way we become better humans is having empathy and compassion for the next person. But you can't do that if you're always struggling with the demons within yourself, you know, the insecurities, the doubts, the fear. You're never on your game. So whenever you got to have a conversation, or whenever you have to have a relationship, whenever you have to go to work and be at your best, whenever you have to motivate somebody, whenever you have to encourage somebody, you can't, because you're so bogged up about your own insecurities and doubts and fears, you know. You're not a true person. You're not yourself. You're not truly free to be yourself, right? And I think that's what being a better human is. It's having compassion and empathy for another person. Because in any situation, in life, business, work, man, when you go to work and you go into the business office, you may not want to be there, man, but the next person might need you that day. You know, they might need some encouragement. They might need some motivation. Right. You know, you kill it on an assignment that your boss gave you. You go kill it. That encouragement gives encouragement to the next person. Maybe I can do that. Maybe, you know, that drives us to want more, not financially, but just into spiritual world, in the spiritual mental world. You know, that's my take on being a better human.
That was amazing. That was amazing. All right. At the end of each episode, we ask our guests for a better human takeaway. You might have just actually given it, which is the 1 to 2 line piece of advice, a sort of big learning from today's conversation, discussion. What's your better human takeaway for the audience today?
A little bit of that. And I think drive. When you wake up in the morning, have a plan, execute your plan, and don't let nothing deter you. And if something does deter you, reach out to the people around you that you developed your team with. Develop some people around you. Get around the right people. I mean, get around the right people. Those people are going to be because you don't understand how much those people matter, man. Being able to wake up and knowing that you don't feel like it and have your husband or wife or best friend call you or tell you, hey, you know, I know it's hard, but just one day, just push, you know. So yeah, just be resilient and just keep going. There's always going to be something at the end of that tunnel. You want to fight for it. You want to lift that trophy up. You know what I mean? You don't want to, you want to get there, you know, you want to have your trophy moment in life. That's good. Have your trophy moment in life. Get up, drive, persevere, dedicate, love yourself, and just feel accomplished, man. You can do it. You can do it. You got it.
And you're so motivating, bro. You got to come. Maybe I'm telling you, maybe you got to work the bits. All right, maybe that's the career after football. Put you in front of a stage. Tony, you are amazing. This was a real pleasure having this conversation. It was insightful. Your story again is a story of perseverance and grits and resilience and determination and success. And by definition, you know, you are the example of what hard work and hard work is. And even when you're not working, by definition, because the game's closed right now, CFL's down, right? You're still getting up every day and working as if you were going to go play the game tomorrow. That is powerful, Tony. That is super, super powerful. Tony, where can the listeners find you? How can we get in touch with you?
My Instagram is Tony Washington _official. And then my Twitter handle is T_Dubs World 13. T-Dubs World 13. T_Dubs World 13.
Well, we're gonna get that posted in the notes and captioning as well. Listen, Tony, once again, thanks so much for being here. Hey, if you like today's show, don't forget to click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to follow Tony Washington, and we will see you next time. Hey, I'm Greg Witz. Thanks so much for coming and checking out the video. If you like that video, you're gonna love the next one. So I'd highly suggest that you click this video over here. And don't forget to subscribe and share.